Okay, now everything should be good. Let me just make sure. Okay, so last stream just talking about this topic in mid sentence, literally. So let me. I just want to make sure that everything is good. Okay. So we were talking about this topic. I'm going to start from scratch because the last live literally just got shut off. They cut this. They cut the sound. They cut the whole thing. So we're starting over. So pretty much the situation in Miami. There was a situation in Miami where, let me just share the screen. They were talking about this mall event. I think it happened either on January 1st or January 2nd. I'm not sure. And so uh, the media reported that this event happened because there were some teenagers fighting. You know, there were teenagers fighting with sticks. And so this was the response that warranted, is what they said, caused
Esto es en Bayside ahora.
Because there was teenagers with sticks fighting at the mall in Miami. And so they had to come out with this response for that. And so as you're looking at this, ask yourself as a normal human being,
9:35.
does that look normal to you to come out because of some a teenage fight at the mall? So you can see it yourself.
No sabemos qué está pasando.
And so obviously that was what was reported. However, the people at the mall themselves who went there, they said that was not the case. That was not the situation, that the government was lying. And so now I'll show this. This is from somebody that was actually there. They said, I was at the mall, at the Miami Mall yesterday, and the government is lying. There were no kids fighting. Everyone panicked because there were creatures walking around. They didn't make any noise, but stared and watched as you move. I tried to make a video, but blah, blah, blah. But they didn't seem aggressive, nor did they seem like they wanted to kill anybody. It almost seemed like they were lost, but they weren't scared of the police that was there. They must have felt far superior. They grounded all flights for a period yesterday. They shut down police scanners in Miami area for hours. It wasn't intentional. They had no choice. Whatever these creatures are, interfered with electronics. Why is there no video of this fight they're talking about? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's what Kalai has shared on his channel. Shout out to Kalai. But this was from somebody named Mo. I couldn't find the tweet, so I thought this was important context to put this in. And especially with the context of the video that we just showed you, with the police showing up like that for kids that were fighting at a moment. And now you have people coming forward on the internet talking about that's not what happened. They're saying they saw 8 to 10 foot creatures at the mall that were like shadow people that that they said they were not scary. They said that they were not, they were just walking around observing. And so what happened, they said that the humans started panicking. It started, this is just conjecture. This is speculation, but it was people were saying that the public started to shoot back at these beings, started to shoot the beings. They tried to take out their phones and record them, and they couldn't record them because they were interfering with the electronics. They shut down all the flights coming in and out of Miami, Florida. They shut down all of the scanners, and they shut down all of the power in the area. Like electricity was shut down completely in this area. This wasn't the beings that did it. This was the response from the government, I guess, to keep this from coming out, or to keep this from the public from talking about it. And so obviously that is very suspicious. That's very odd. That something like that would take place. But again, I have been telling you guys for months that was going to happen. I've actually told you on December 15th of 2023 that I had a dream of interdimensional beings invading this planet, and our government was trying to respond to them. That video is still up on YouTube. That video is still available. It was released on December 16th of 2023. And I was telling you guys about this dream that I had, about this vision that I had of their queen that was talking to me and showing me how they were sending down their people down here, these interdimensional beings, what they was looking like, what they could do, how they could reappear and disappear. There are people online saying that these beings could reappear and disappear at the mall, like they was teleporting all over the place in the mall. They were not afraid, and this is what they were doing. And so I know for a fact they can do those things, and I saw that in the dream that I told you guys about on December 16th. I was telling you guys that they could do those things, that they could teleport, that they were shadow or melanated looking, that they were 8 to 12 feet tall. Actually, in 2021, I sent a friend or a colleague more so, that a message. I was like, there's going to be 8 to 12 foot beings that start appearing on this planet. Don't be shocked. Don't be scared. They melanated, blah, blah, blah. And I just through a vision, just a prophecy that I could see, just a prophecy. And I had told him that in 2021. August 2022, I tried to tell people about a quantum entanglement session I was going through because of the effects of what happened with the CERN machine. That CERN portal that they had opened, those whatever entities that came through, I felt that. I felt that. I knew when they came in. I felt when they came in, and it affected me. It affected many people when that happened in August 2022. It did. It wasn't just me that it affected. Then in July 2023, I had another visitation, another prophecy, more dreams about this stuff happening, about these interdimensional beings, and it got real. And and I tried to tell people about that, and I guess they said, oh, she's going crazy, blah blah blah. But you could feel that energy. And so now you got now it's January 5th, 2024, and the terms Nephilim is trending, the terms alien is trending, the term obviously Miami is trending, and now you got people talking about this stuff, you know and it's kind of infuriating for me, because as you guys saw, for those who just saw what happened with that last live stream, where it just literally just took off, my internet completely just shut down, it just completely just boom, just right off. It's I've been taking a lot of heavy hits for trying to get this information out. I've been talking about these planetary shifts, these interdimensional beings that touch down, because I don't know what else to say. I don't know how else to say it. I've been literally been having dreams of this stuff. December 15th, you know, again, that that Atlant, because I know the dimension they come from, they are Atlanteans. Again, within the Atlantean species, there are multiple subsets of different species. And so technically you can be of a reptilian nature, amphibian, and even a humanoid, and can technically still be from the Atlantean dimension. I know this information is very complex to understand, maybe not for you guys, but for those who may be new to the information, and it's very heavy information. And I'm not going to get so much into a quantum entanglement on this video, or try to do any channeling or anything like that, or even get so esoteric. But I know for a fact that I had a dream about this December 15th. The video is still up, and this response. Let me see, share this response that our government had to this, and I had told you that in a dream.
Esta es una llamada a todas las unidades de la ciudad de Miami.
Everything possible, and this is only the beginning, because them beings that they saw walking around in that mall, that was them pretty much trolling our government. I'm not even gonna hold you. They were trolling. They're not even trying to troll humans. They don't for humans. I guess for that's going to panic or whatever, or freak out, whatever. You don't have to have any fear. You don't need to panic, because if they was going to hurt you, or they was going to do anything, they could have done it. That's just like when they be shutting off my stuff, and do you know how many conversations I've had? I have literally conversations, and I know, I'm pretty sure the CIA or whatever, they got this classified files, whatever. They can actually, they have it monitored where they can hear the other person. Where I've been talking, literally in a full blown conversation, going back and forth about this stuff. And unfortunately, I'm kind of scared to kind of get into the details myself. I ain't even gonna hold you, but And I would try to call myself recording the whole thing because to keep some evidence, to keep at least, okay, people know that, you know, if you listen to the context of the whole conversation, and you know that, okay, there's something fishy going on here, right? And I call myself, you know, trying to record or whatever, and then you play the playback, and you can only just hear me talking, and you can't hear the other motherfucker talking about this stuff. Like, you can't hear the other person, you know, grilling me, trying to get me to be quiet, threatening me, threatening my wife, and all types of stuff. If I talk about this stuff, you know, you don't hear them saying all that stuff. You just hear me going off. We need to, and I'm thinking, like, I know I recorded both two motherfuckers. How the hell how did they mess with the electronics where you can only just get one side of the conversation? They do that stuff all the time. There have been plenty of times where I be talking on YouTube going live, and then the thing just shut off, and I'm still talking, thinking it's recording, and then you can't even hear the audio. So it happens all the time. And so my frustration is, you know, with seeing something so, and it's things that I have seen, and there's things that I know that of course I myself will not divulge that information. I'm just not. For one, you're not capable. You won't believe it. So it's like, what is the point? You're not going to believe it. And I've already taken hits to my reputation in terms of, you know, the 3D shit, you know, the 3D academia role that I play. And I am an academic. I am a scholar. That can't be argued. My body of work speaks for itself. My 18 books speaks for itself. However, in terms of talking about such esoteric topics, you know, talking about, you know, interdimensional beings, talking about CERN, talking about these quote unquote, what they call us conspiracy theorists, me talking about that stuff is not mainstream. It's very like, whoa, 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 whoa. And it's people that know what I'm saying. That is absolutely true. That it's absolutely true to stuff that I'm saying. They study everything that I'm saying because I'm the one getting in quantum entanglement sessions with multiple different species, whether that be the Lemurians, whether that be the Pleiadians, whether that be the Atlanteans, whether that be even the Anunnaki, some of these reptilian species. I'm the one that can channel and see all this stuff, and they'll come and it shall be clear as day in a dream. Okay, this is what we about to do. This is what we talk, you know, just like this situation that just happened in Miami. I'm telling you for a fact that video is up. Now I talked about other topics in that video from 12/16. It's the Leave the World Behind video. But also when I talk about the stuff from the Chaos Intelligence Room, when I talk about when I have a video literally on planetary shift and fallen angels, that's literally just a month old. I've been talking about this stuff for a minute. I talked about the psyop because there is some psyop energy to this. Is this a psyop or is this really an alien invasion? In July of 2023, I had asked over probably 20 to 50 people. I don't have the number offhand because at that time I really did think I was going to die. No lie. I thought I was going to die as far as like being killed. And so I just hurried up and just messaged all these people on Twitter and said, screenshot everything that I'm saying. And soon it will make sense, you know, because I was literally in a different dimension and could see that this planet was being invaded. I knew by who, I knew what was going on. And so for me, I was like, I was messaging everybody, like, take these screenshots. And once this information comes out, you can share it or not. But, you know, I was just letting people know, like, just do that. And so I took the screenshots too and saved them on Google Drive and saved them onto my computer. I was pretty much talking about how there's a lag between space and time, between the events that play out and events that I went pretty much, how do I say this? I went to the future. Even though when you think about the concept of time and how arbitrary it is, and like, okay, the present, future, and now is in the past, it all plays out in one, you know, continuum. If you want to look at time as that's your business, that's fine. I'm talking about in certain dimensions, and particularly 3D through 5D, 6D, 7D, whatever you want to say it, the element of future, past, present is still relevant. And so you can go to the future, see events, and then come your ass back here. It's called quantum entanglement, quantum superposition. It happens all the time to people. And so I was literally in the future trying to tell all these people on Twitter, like, these things are going to happen, and then came back, you know, obviously. And then I'm like, oh, I panicked because I said, oh my gosh, because next thing you know, the tweets were deleted. Everything, that stuff the screenshots that I took myself was deleted off of the Google Drive. And it was deleted off of my computer, and I didn't do it. I'm scrambling and looking all around for the screenshots on my Google Drive because I'm like, yo, because all this stuff started to play out, like all this stuff about the chief The chief officer of the Pentagon decided to resign and warned the government about interdimensional beings. Um, our telescope started getting shut off by unknown forces. I have all the records, all the data to prove this. They were testifying in Congress about these interdimensional beings and unidentified objects and all this stuff. But all of this started coming out after that had happened, after I had asked everybody to take them screenshots, and after them screenshots were removed from my Google Drive and my computer by unknown forces. They just disappeared. I don't have access to any of it. The people that I had asked to do those screenshots, that stuff most likely got, for all I know, they for one stopped talking to me, and so I can only imagine that it's some play, it's something going on with that. But I also think that that stuff was erased from their computers as well. And so I was seeing all that stuff. I no lie. I knew it was going to be disclosures. I knew that they were going to come out with all of this. Because when I traveled through that quantum entanglement session, I could see that there was a shift in guard in terms of how this planet was being ran, and it was interdimensional in the sense that the current rulership, when it's not just government level, that's very low level. CIA, FBI, that's very low level compared to what I'm talking about, and they know that. Was being shifted. Now, humans, this stuff, you're not privy to it or whatever. Some of you are. That's the good thing. Some of you are, but there was a shift in terms of a change of guard of what was going to be happening on this planet, and pretty much governance. And pretty much governance, it was switching from what we see now and it's going into another realm. That could be three. You want to look at it as 3D, 5D shift, 3D, 7D shift. It's much, much deeper than that. But for those who can handle, like for those that's kind of like, well, what is she talking about? That would be the best way I can put it. It's much, much deeper than that. Now we talking about Nephilim, Miami Mall. You see, now Nephilim is trending. In those tweets in July of 2023, I was talking about how, and it's not just Nephilim that has this, it's humans that walk around with this too, that the blood of half fallen angel, half human had, so pretty much had, and I don't know how to, I can't go there. It's too deep. It's too deep. But I pretty much was talking about that in the tweets too. I was talking about how there's a war that broke out because they are trying to finesse the human race and in the current dark entities, and so they want to rule for another 2,000 years. And not honor the treaty that was set in stone thousands of years ago to pass it back over to um, the Watchers and that ilk, the other side, pretty much. And so I'm not going to get too deep into that, but that's how all this popped off. It's all prophecy. It's nothing new. It's biblical, Hopi. It's stuff that the Africans been talking about for thousands of years, with their cosmology and all that stuff. So it's nothing new. It's just that here we are. Here we are. And people, what's frustrating is people will play on your top, not minds, but just, people like me in general, like, when we be trying to get this information out, um, but I won't go on a tangent. I'll just share this. So let me see. This lady was talking about this. Let's just watch this because I'm just so like, I'll just play. Okay, so the internet had shut off. Linus Den, are you still here? Can you hear me? Because there was some interference. Okay, so it looks like it's still going. So I'll continue. Um, yeah, I'll continue. But anyways, let's play this. I'm gonna see if it actually still plays.
Right? That seems like a lot of officers to show up, but my friends, that is not anywhere near all that came. And once you understand and you hear the eyewitnesses' stories, I believe you will at that point understand a little bit better as to why so many police officers, probably 100, along with choppers, black choppers from the PD, patrolling the scene from above. And according to eyewitnesses there, the Miami police was not dispatched there for a juvenile fight. And the obvious need for such an enormous police presence was far more sinister than what we've been told. As multiple witnesses claimed to have seen, I can't believe I'm going to say this, creatures that stood 8 to 10 feet tall, walking outside and even inside of the mall. And the pew-pews that were reported, and even the pew-pews you might hear in some of the videos, had nothing to do with the juvenile fight. According to these witnesses, it was actually the mall goers shooting to protect themselves from these 8 to 10 foot tall creatures in self-defense. But wait, it gets better. Along with the ridiculously high number of police officers that arrived on the scene and the helicopter flying above, apparently after this incident was phoned into the police, the Black PD helicopters were the only things flying that night in the Miami sky. As the Miami airport was shut down, still no flights going or coming at Miami International, only one PD helicopter patrolling the area. The absolute lack of this story anywhere is absolutely driving me mad. On my Google search, I found nothing. I found crickets. Ironic. Even my ex, not my ex, even ex let me down. Well, my ex let me down too, but that's a whole nother story.
Okay, so I'll stop there. But yeah, this scene that I talked about, where our government was trying to do every little thing to kind of get the situation under control, and that vision and that dream that I had on December 16th, I was talking about in that video where it was nothing that they can do. And so I'll share this again. Um, it was nothing. It is nothing that they're gonna be able to do, because they're here because, again, they're not here to save the human race. They're not here to harm the human race. There are some beings that are ushering in the takeover of the higher levels from the Nephilim and the fallen angels that currently rule. Obviously, Lucifer and his ilk. There are some beings that are here to take over that regime, but these particular beings from the Atlantean dimension, that, because there are separate ones, but the ones from that I was talking about in that video from December 16th, they are here because I guess our government or world government, some way, somehow, they have some of their species kind of hostage, or they're here for their people. Now, some of them do appear as human. Some of them are appearing as human, but they're not they're not earthbound. They're not indigenous to earth. And so from what I got from that vision in December 15th was that they are here to get their people, and that they were sending a message. And when I did see them touch down in that dream, that whatever that same stuff that guy explained that he saw them doing in that mall, with that teleporting, disappearing, and reappearing at will when you try to shoot at them, I told you guys straight up in that dream that that's what they was doing. They was clearly doing that. So is this guy just randomly making that up? Like we don't know each other, and people that was at that mall are saying that these beings were doing it. So why would they just make that up? You know what I mean? So I just find it interesting that I was talking about that in that dream. I saw them doing that. That anytime you try to shoot at them, or they was trying to throw mad things at them. And that's just the stuff you saw because of the 3 to 7D realm. Imagine the stuff that happened on the 9, 10D. I told you they can't get past the 20D dimension. I told you that those beings were 45D beings in that dream. And when I told you in July what had happened, and there's a phone call of this, and I called a friend talking about, yo, we in a 45D dimension with the GIA, blah, blah, blah. And they probably thought I had lost it, but it's all making sense now. I had said all these events was going to play out in July, and they just now all playing out. From the Congress from the chief Pentagon resigning, talking about the warning the government about aliens in our backyard, blah, blah, blah. That, he was, that could have been, him trying to save face. Because again, they had always been here. It's not like it's not new. This stuff has always been going on for thousands and thousands of years. You can look at the Book of Enoch. You can look at the Rig Veda. You can look at the Bhagavad Gita. You can look at all these materials, obviously the Mayan material. They've all talked about this stuff. It's nothing new. However, there are through light years, and again, through the best way I can explain it is quantum entanglement. You guys are going to hear me say that word and sound like a broken record, but there are new energies or new species coming, that are here now. But as far as like unbeknownst to you, as far as like had they been here before? Yeah, they've always been here, coming in and out at will. And again, it's through interdimensionality, because this is a plane of existence. It's not flat based or globe based. These are dimensions of consciousness. And so Earth is a dimension of consciousness. It's a plane. 3 to 7D usually. You do have 2D beings here. You also have 8D, 9D beings here. You don't, again, as far as the ones that's ruling over you, they cannot get past the 20 dimension. In August 2022, I said it on Twitter. You guys thought I was batshit crazy. I said the CIA can't get past the 20th dimension. That's what I meant. Because again, when they opened that CERN portal, 45D beings came through here, and beings that's much higher than 45D. They certainly touched down. I was trying to talk about this stuff, and literally 2 days after I started talking about these things that are now just playing out in August 2022, when I got that quantum entanglement session with those entities, and I went on Twitter and I was trying to talk about it. 2 days later, I was locked up. Illegally, of course, but I mean, there's proof that they locked me up to prevent me from talking about this stuff. Now, all this stuff is playing out from 2022 now, with them testifying in Congress about UFOs, with the people in Panama. The people in Panama and Brazil screaming to the top of their lungs, talking about they saw 8 feet beings. Now you got these people in Miami talking about they got 8 feet beings. There's people in Asia talking about they saw 8 feet beings and all this stuff, from stuff I was talking about in 2021 on WhatsApp, talking about, there's 8 to 10 feet beings that's coming here, and people writing me off as, oh, she's just having a moment. She just, doing her, let's just mind our business. But yeah, straight up, I've seen this stuff through dreams and prophecy. And it's also prophecy, out in some of these ancient texts. It's nothing new. But this is only the beginning. And I was saying earlier that those beings at that mall, they were trolling. They were trolling our government. They're not trolling humanity. They really ain't got no beef with you. They observing too, because again, though some of their species had already had familiarity with planet Earth, some of us don't. Some of the beings don't. Okay, some of the beings that are down here, this is their first time down here. Beings from the Chaos Intelligence Room, which I've talked about. This is that's a room that, for some of those beings, this is their first time. Some of them do appear as human. Some of them, they do the shapeshift thing, and so they can appear as human to you, but they're not you. And that would many species do that. That's nothing serious. That's nothing serious. But also from the Chaos Intelligence Room, you do have dragon riders that are now on this planet, that have never been here, and so they are running around, whether that be from the Atlantis dimension or from the Chaos Intelligence being the Chaos Intelligence Room, running around just observing the planet, becoming familiar with it. They're also trolling the powers that be, because they want you to know that there is nothing that they fear. They do not fear nothing, that any weapon that our government has, they don't fear it. They don't fear no weapon that they have. They could shut off electronic communication. They could shut off Starlink satellites, all of that. They fear nothing. These beings, they don't want to hurt humanity. They want their people, and they want to get some of these beings want to get people and get the fuck out, because it's about to go down. I'm just keeping it real. And again, I've just put a video up on December 31st, giving this prophecy for 2024, right? I did this long ass 3-hour video giving a tarot reading for humanity and visions and prophecies and dreams. I talked about the dream that I had about how God had the watchers, including me, running around here, flying around, speaking a certain language and gathering people up. And I had talked about how species, different species, whether that be the Pleiades star cluster, the Andromedan star cluster, and whatnot, they were coming down here to solely get their people and get out. And I said that in the video. I said in that dream that I had, that was the energy that I got. That is certain. They getting their people and they getting out, and going back to their constellations, they star constellations, because it's about to get real on this planet. It's about to get real. And not everyone is indigenous to Earth, but the people that are indigenous to Earth, they're going to be fine. You know, the ones that are indigenous, you know, it's not like they're just going to be stuck in whatever. But there is going to be some battle that take place that is obviously above 90 dimension consciousness, but it's going to seep. You're going to see it's already seeping. You already see it seep. It's seeping into 3 to 7B conscious realm. So that means that the humans will be able to see it. The human, now you were able to see them shadow beings, them dark 8 to 10-foot beings running around the mall in Miami. You know, normally they probably been always doing that. You just probably wasn't able to see it because of the frequency. But that veil is lifted. So you're going to be able to see, you're going to be seeing a lot of things. You're going to be seeing that stuff. And so it was a fluke, as far as like, okay, you know, like a fluke in a sense, but also trolling the powers that be, because they are here for their people. They want whoever our government, and I had said that in the video. I said they pissed off their queen from their dimension. They sent down their military, and they just sent down, and it is people just visiting, but it's much more serious with this particular species because they have some of their species under hostage. It's something that they got them captured, kind of, and so they want to get their people out of that grasp. I mean, those particular species out of their grasp. And you will say, "Oh, do other humans got them under?" No, it's another group of entities that roll over you. You know, that's what. How do I explain this? Because again, it's so heavy, it's so deep, and it's like I don't want to just be like, ooh. But those beings from the Atlantean dimension that is coming down here for their particular people that are being held hostage, they're not held hostage by human race. They're held hostage by another group of entities that have been ruling over on this planet for thousands of years. Okay, so that's what you need to take from that. And again, like I said, this is a very interdimensional thing. So some of those species that are being quote unquote held, this hostage thing, that's the best way I can explain it from what I saw in a dream. They can appear as human. They can also be a hybridization of a species with a genetic code linked, like a Starlink set. Like the best way I could put it is like a genetic marker that's primarily anchored in that realm, the Atlantean dimension realm. That means that there's humans that fall under that category of the hybridization. It's just as simple as that. That's what I saw in the dream. I saw just like you see this police and all that, how they was coming. I saw this in the dream. I actually saw a lot more, but and I talked about that in that video, and there was nothing that they can do. There was nothing that they can do. This right here. And that's where we're at with it. Again, I had been trying to tell people about this, and I took a lot of professional hits to my reputation. I took a lot because, I'm just kind of known as like this square academic scholar or whatever. I wasn't really known as a conspiracy theorist. I've always been radical. I've always been more of very unfiltered. I'm always going to tell the truth. I'm always going to, but as far as like showing my esoteric side and showing the side of where, my priestess side, I've always kept that hidden. Like when I did the tarot reading for the first time on my channel, I've been doing tarot reading since 2017. It was just always behind the scenes. I've always been a prophet I've been an ordained minister for years as well. I just never brought that to the public. But when I was getting those visitations from the Lemurians, from the Pleiadians, from Erishkigal, from Tahuti, from Tiamat, and people could look at that and say, "Oh, that's the devil, whatever." But I had the same quantum entanglements with Yeshua as well, with those of you that love Jesus, and I don't knock none of I don't knock anybody's religion or what you believe, because I have an understanding. I understand what all of this is about. And with me and my faith, it's not necessarily important as far as my individual beliefs. But when I started giving me those visitations, when that CERN stuff started happening, that's when I say, yo, this is real. Like, this is some other stuff that's way above my pay grade. I didn't quite know how to handle all that. So my first thing was like, I just remember them saying, you have to speak out about these things. And so I started talking about it. And then that's when it was just kind of like, let's lock her up. Attempted assassinations, all type of stuff has been happening because of that. They have tried to do so many things that I have been dealing with behind the scenes that I don't talk about publicly. I talk about it a little bit as far as like the stuff that they do with all the truth tellers and all the people that go out on a limb like that. But and there's stuff that I know that I have saw that I am definitely afraid to even talk about. That I do know that everything, like the internet and all that stuff, was shut off. Like my life will go off if I was to talk about certain things that I do know and that I see, that I have seen. So for me, this Miami situation is very serious, in a sense, into where they send in their warning shots. They send in their warning shots, and them beings, they they not trying to hurt humanity. They really not. If they wanted to, they would do it. Trust me. Trust me. If they wanted to, they would do it. Now, as far as you thinking you're gonna pull out a phone and record them, because trust me, I try. You think you're gonna pull out your little recorder or your little internet, pull up you know how they be having the A Power soft recorders and all that. You think you're gonna do that? Or what's the other one? Audacity. I think because I trust me, I tried it. And you think you're gonna record and all that. That's done. You're not gonna be able to. They're 45D beings, so they could just shut that off like it's nothing. They turn off our satellites. I went on Twitter talking about how they shut off our satellites. I done videos talking about how it was going to happen. The next couple of days later, it happens. I'm like, I had dreams that they're going to shut off our telecommunications. They could send solar flares and all types of stuff, and they do it. So as far as like people are like, well, why there's no recording of it? Why there's no evidence of it? When you try to pull out your phone and hit the record button or turn your 5G data on, again, these are beings that understand electromagnetism on levels that humans have not yet understood, or even other interdimensional beings that roll over you. They understand radio signals. They understand transducers. They understand molecular action. They understand how to bend the laws of physics at will in ways that the human concepts of physics or theoretical physics are not caught up there yet. So when you try to pull out your phone and think you're just going to press your record and get some footage, through the mind, they can interfere with the electromagnetic energies of those Wi-Fi wires and all, the towers and all that, can interfere and just shut all that off just through their mind. I'm telling you for a fact that this is what can happen. You don't have to believe me. I don't care if you do. I really don't care. But I know for a fact that they can do this. And so that's why you won't see the footage out. And this, again, it wasn't for humanity to freak out or to get you guys off fear or all in a jiff. That was to send a message to the powers that be. That was to test out things. They wanted to see, like, okay, well, how you got to test people's equipment and test people's responses, and that's how you want to test their power. And so that's what that was about. Like, okay, let's see what's how do they respond? Are they going to shut off the FAA? Going to shut down telecommunications? They cut off the power. They cut off. You couldn't fly in the area for a little while, whatever. In Miami, you couldn't fly at all, in or out. And so they that's what they do. Now, and it's going to be more and more of that. I don't know what else to say. People that are more into the prophecy aspect of this in terms of the biblical aspects of that, there's nothing wrong with that. I tried to show you guys. Let me show you this. I tried to show you this right here from the Andromedan star cluster. Let me see if I can go here from the. Let's see. Why did it just do that? That's weird. Okay, let me just go to it again. Okay, here we go. I tried to show you guys this. Now this was somebody's breakdown of Revelations 1:15. And they were pretty much talking about how Yeshua started like this esoteric school in the Andromedan constellation after, I guess, leaving Earth. And they were talking about obviously these 3 to 10D beings, but pretty much decrypting the technical secrets of creating a 3-dimensional universe. And so for those of you that's like, okay, like you have your beliefs and whatnot, what happens is like much of the information was hidden, much of the information was botched, much of the information was distorted and misinterpreted. So while you have a good grasp on many of the things in the Bible or in Rig Veda, Bhagavad Gita, whatever, however you want to say it, the thing is, with human states stuck in this age of Piscean 2,000-year religion-based thinking in terms of government rule, since the Roman Empire pretty much, and since the British Empire, now you have the American Empire. That's all connected, the Roman Empire, and obviously being even under the rule of certain organizations. I'm not going to get into too deep into all of that, but pretty much you guys have been humanity has been bottlenecked in isolation in terms of the information that was given and fed to them for the last 2,000 years. And so bottlenecked, it means just a period, just of isolation, of stagnation a bit. And so the rest of the universe and the rest of the galaxies, the rest of the constellations and dimensions just kept moving on. It was nothing personal. They just felt like on a free will world where all of the information in terms of the intergalactic mentalism has been revealed to humanity through various IPUs of ascended masters, teachings, prophecies, occult knowledge, esoteric knowledge. Even if you want to talk, through the Abrahamic knowledge alone, you can pretty much become very advanced just through even some of the original teachings of Yeshua, not what you see now, but the original teachings of Yeshua. So they kind of felt like, if you guys needed a period to be isolated or even self-destruct or even evolve, that was your business. But the rest of the dimensions, they just did their own thing and kept it moving. They just kept it moving and kept growing considerably advanced. And so what's missing is from the earth-based information that you guys have in terms of, for instance, religion, what's missing is the galactic essence of that, the interdimensional, intergalactic information that was originally in those texts. So right now, obviously, you see the book of Enoch playing out. You see, like, people are saying, oh, people mentioning the Nephilim right now. They're talking about, oh, the days of Noah, blah, blah, blah. Had the original teachings not have been removed from those texts or been relegated to occult societies, for instance, the book of Enoch and the Apocrypha and the Chaldees, all of the Gnostic teachings, it had all that stuff been freely available and never removed from the original canon of I don't want to say Christianity because that's not the right. That's Christianity was formulated much later than the information I'm talking about. Obviously, when we talk about the Apocrypha, and even that, has been tampered with, right? But had that information not been hidden or not been deemed heretical, you guys would be much more advanced. And a situation like what you see with Miami, that wouldn't be a big deal. It really wouldn't be a big deal. as far as like the shock and the panic and this, they said the humans was taking out guns and shooting shooting at the beings, 45D beings. If I'm telling you, if I told you guys a year ago that the CIA can't get past the 20 dimension, and mind you, they try to make it seem like 5, 6, and 7D is something. If they can't get past the 20D dimension, what makes you think that you could shoot at a 45D being and think that of course they're going to teleport all over the place and disappear, reappear at will? This is what I've been saying for a year. And everybody thought I was, man, no lie, man. No lie. I used to have conversations with people that I don't want to get too deep, but I'm having conversations with beings that I know appear as humans, but they're not human. That's all I'll say. They appear as human, but they're not human. And we talking on the phone or whatever, and I see them, and I know that they do this stuff. It's humans that can do this stuff. So they've been hiding all this information, and then you thinking you're going to record it or you're going to go pull out a phone. No, they will that satellite, unless you got a satellite phone, and even they cut that off. They cut off the satellites. So you thinking you're gonna just go and get some footage, so you can go share on Facebook or you can go share on Twitter or something. It's not happening, and it's unfortunate. Just like how they show you these grainy ass pictures of them UFOs. It's 2024. We haven't seen a crisp photo or video footage of a nice UFO. Only these ridiculous grainy ass looking photos from like the 60s. That's the only ones they be showing you. I'm telling you, with my 2 eyeballs, that I have seen stuff that looks just like how you would see them in the Wakanda, the Black Panther and all that stuff, how they be showing in the movies with the X-Men and all that, how it look all cool and all that. That shit is like, that's exactly how it look. It don't look like them grainy ass photos that you see from the 1970s and 1980s where you can barely make out what it is. And it's supposed to be Navy footage and Air Force footage, and you can't see exactly what it is. Nah, I'm telling you for a fact, it looked just like that stuff you saw where it go levitate up, levitate down, diagonal, defy. It stay up in the air. It's not an airplane. It's way more advanced than the damn airplane. And they calling that airplane for a reason. It's a plane of the people. That's too deep. I'm not gonna go there. They probably cut the feed off, but because the airplanes are not what you think either. By the way, as far as just traveling from one space, from one location to another location on Earth. On a globe, a flat base globe. Even if you think that the Earth is flat, some people think the Earth is flat, or some people think it's a globe. No, planes go straight. So let's just say, like, so they talk about how it's north and south, right? It's up and down. Like, oh, Africa is supposed to be by the equator and all this stuff. But you realize your plane just always goes straight. Do you ever go? You go straight. And then you have to go, land, obviously. You go up and then you have to go. But when you think about, like, if you, in terms of traveling from the actual geolocation points, you don't ever travel down. As far as the plane just don't travel just straight down, unless when you're landing. But if the globe is flat based, I'm sorry, if the globe is round based, you would feel that motion of going around, going in a circular sense, of going having to travel straight down to the south, having to travel straight up back to the north, obviously sideways to sideways, or even diagonal because of the location points. So you're traveling interdimensionally just from being in the airplane. I know this is very advanced. Eventually, you guys will understand what I'm saying. You're traveling interdimensionally. That's why it's from plane to plane. That's why they calling it an airplane. It's from plane to plane. Now, if you guys want to see it as the Earth is flat base, it's not flat because it's dimensional layers stacked through frequency, through resonance mainly. That's the best way I can think of it. It's through resonance. And so when you travel in an airplane, you're basically traveling from resonance to resonance, from a dimension to a dimension, just straight on, while you're still on the plane of Earth. And that's the best way I can say it, because if you go into the south, why the plane ain't traveling down to the south? It's still traveling you go obviously up through, to a certain point, a certain height in the sky, and then you're going to go flat unless you get a little turbulence, and then you got to do your landing and go back down. But why you always go to the sky. We always go to the sky and then travel from point A to point B to point C to point D. That should be interesting to you guys. Or you have to go in a boat, right? You have to do a boat. You have to go travel through the ocean, or you have to travel by maybe a train. But that should be interesting to you. Think about the level. Because if you're on Earth, you got to go through a boat, or you can do it through a plane. Now the plane is much faster, and the boat would be much slower. Say to go from America to Africa. You're still not going down. You're still going in one direction. You're not traveling down to the equator or down to the south, because it's a plane of existence. It's not flat base either, though. So whether it's not flat base, it's interdimensional base. It's a plane of existence, a dimension. And all of the planet is like that. That is why in 2023, they talk about there was 7,000 islands that was discovered in Japan recently. How does 7,000 islands just pop up? It was always there. It was just in a different resonance of dimension. It was a different, the veil had to reveal itself to you in frequency for you to be able to see that. Just like how y'all now you can see 8 to 10 feet beings. 8 to 10 feet beings. In 2021, I was talking about that. And I could show you video footage of Jordan Maxwell. Look at Jordan Maxwell was in the 80s talking about how he was with some of them power brokers, like millionaire, like pretty much, like they were bankers, and how they were talking about how they was, in some little, they happened to come upon some little secret meeting, and one of them 12-foot beings, them 10-foot beings appeared, and what they do, they was able to freeze their phones, freeze their body. These beings, they could freeze your whole body, where they could paralyze your body where you can't move. And Jordan Maxwell was talking about that. That's still on YouTube. That was from the 80s. So it's nothing new. It's nothing new. It's just now that the average human can see it. Also, again, that brings me to my point where I do want to reiterate that them beings, they didn't have any harm towards humans, because again, they can paralyze your body, freeze your body. I know for a fact that they can do this. They can also cause immense pain in the body. So the fact that they didn't do this to any of the people in the mall, the people just complained about, them not being able to record and their phone not working, or them not being able to make a phone call. That was pretty much what all the people that came forward were talking about. And so that's not a big of a deal if you ask me, because they do that shit all the time. It could be much worse. Trust me, it could be much worse with these entities. Not that particular one from that dimension, but we talking about the entities that have been here for thousands of years. Them motherfuckers, them some cruel motherfuckers. Them some cruel beings. They are very cruel to humans. Now they've been hiding from you. They have been ruling over you, but you guys know about the conspiracies, about the reptilian conspiracy and all that stuff. So that's not really anything. But the ones in Miami, those were the beings from the dream that I told you about. They are not here to harm humanity. They are not here to save humanity. They're here for their people. They're here to send a message. And that being is from the Atlantean dimension. Those beings. There are others. There are some that are trying to get hostile. They're doing a hostile takeover. I don't know how much. I don't know what else to tell you. There are some that are doing a full-blown hostile takeover of this planet. Not humanity, but over the beings, what you guys call fallen angels or Nephilim, because but really Nephilim is not the best word, because these humans have some of them are just regular humans that interbreeded with them, and so they're not giants. You know what I mean? Like they just have the best way to put it, demon blood. They half human and half demon. That's the best way. That's the most simple way I could put it. Though they want them out of power. That's why I'm telling you, this election is going to be a shit show. It's gonna be looking really messy. It is. It's gonna look so messy. Where the best thing, my advice would be, don't panic. Don't panic at all. Don't have any fear, because a lot of this is it's above your pay grade. But unfortunately, it should have never been hidden from you in the first place. And this is what the beings from my dimension have been saying. This is what we believe from the chaos intelligence realm. Why was this stuff hidden? This is what Yeshua believed. This is why they had killed Yeshua. Yeshua is from my dimension. This is where we were like, why was this stuff ever a secret? Why was this ever hidden? Why is this like it's baffling to us? And so they to see us as the enemy. Some of the watchers, not all of your watchers are bad or evil. Some of the fallen angels are defecting from the plan because they realize they have a chance at redemption and to go back under the fold of what you guys call the creator God. You guys, some of you call him Father God. It doesn't matter. It's we don't see God as male, but it's fine. But we'll just say creator God. And so they're defecting from the plan. That it gets so deep, but and they realize, okay, you know what, it is time for that change of vanguard. It is time, but if we're just talking prophetically, it's in times of this age for sure. The Piscean dogmatism age of dogmatism, age of pure ignorance, if you ask me, and deception. That's coming to an end. Absolutely, it's coming to an end. Absolutely, and we are going into a new age, and there are going to be things and revealed. There's going to be many revelations. There's going to be, of course, plenty of exposure, plenty of truth, of the likes we have never seen, of the likes of which we have never seen. And while that is while that is refreshing and while that is great for humanity, it's not going to be without upheaval. That should be very obvious. Now, as far as like, okay, does that mean that any one particular belief or any one particular religion is correct over the other? In this day and time, no. Nobody is knocking what anybody believes. Whatever you believe, you can continue to believe in. Hold on to it. Hold on to God. I don't care what name you use, what name you hold on to God, justice, and righteousness at this time. Okay, hold on to that. But as far as like being siloed into any particular dogma, that's not going to be helpful for humanity. You want to keep an open mind, but you want to stand on principle. Anybody that's trying to take over your free will or try to take control of your free will, that's run. That's the devil. Anybody that's trying to convince you that deception is okay, that anything that's unnatural is okay, run. It's the devil. Anything that's trying to convince you from not speaking the truth or living your truth, speaking truth to power, infringing upon your freedoms, your time and location freedom, trying to enslave you through slave wages, and whatnot. That those are the things that humanity want to be breaking free from. Of course. And so while this is a very fascinating time for me, I'm from the chaos intelligence realm. Yes, I have physical flesh as a human, but again, many of you humans are hybridizations. We all know that there was genetic splicing and genetic experiments that took place on the human race, obviously since the Nephilim, but it's been much more. It wasn't just the fallen angels. And actually, there was clearance to experiment on Homo sapien. However, they were never given clearance to shut off your DNA, to dormant part of your DNA, to mess with codes to make you subservient. That was not cool. And so that's why you've seen some of them fallen angels, get their ass tore out the frame. Back in what you guys call fallen angels, we look at them as interdimensional beings, from a pole of creation, from our pole of creation. But you guys see them as, it's all this angel thing, but whatever. Again, they were not given clearance to do the genetic splicing in terms of canceling out certain DNA where for one, where you lose access to some of the gifts that humanity had: telekinesis, teleportation, telepathy. The things that humans originally have, all of that was cut off in your DNA. It is dormant now. You can obviously, through a process of obviously the Kundalini awakening, balancing of the energies, and other methodologies, other methods, and sometimes just God herself coming down, awakening you. You can develop those gifts again. Many of you have them, and you're holding it a secret for whatever, you're not telling people, and that's fine. Maybe it's wise not to tell people, right? During this time. But those interdimensional beings were not given clearance to do that. And so now, we're at this crossroads where humans don't even realize that they could be hybridization. Many, some of them do. For instance, the Bushmen, the Dogon tribe, they realize that they are hybridization and they come from certain star systems. Some of the Indian tribes, a lot of the American Indians, they always knew that they come from certain star constellations from their ancient texts, as well as a lot of the Africans. However, generally speaking, for humanity, they've forgotten that information. They talk about, they telling you about evolution from Lucy the monkey and biology and all that nonsense. They talking that shit in the sciences and the schools and stuff. And a lot of people is buying into that, especially Europeans. But no, it's much, much, much more vast than that, much more advanced than that story that they gave y'all about a monkey sharing a common ancestor with the ape, and in the evolution period of from the Cro-Magnon to it's Australopithecus to, Cro-Magnon, and Homo erectus and Homo. I don't have it all in order, but you get what I'm saying. That shit, no. Maybe for a particular species, maybe for a particular subset of humanoid that it looks like human, or maybe even a particular ethnicity. But for all of humanity, no. Some of us, we are very clear where we come from. We are very clear. Some of us, shit, some of them Indians and some of them American Indians, they've been talking about they come from the Pleiades star cluster for thousands of years. Even some of the Africans. Some of them talk about they from Sirius A, Sirius B, Sirius C. Some talk about they from Andromeda. Some from talk about they the avians, they the Actarians. They've been talking about this stuff. Lemuria. Come on. It's nothing new. Obviously, you have Atlantis. This is real. And so humans are just not realizing they have to catch up with this stuff. It was at one point never hidden from you. It was at one point, it was just something that you always knew. But for the last 2,000 years, all of this information was purposely hidden from you. They purposely tried to downplay the teachings of the Book of Enoch, downplay the teachings of the Rig Veda and the Bhagavad Gita, downplay the teachings of all of the texts of the Gnosticisms about the archons and the Dharma Urge and Sophia and all. They downplay all of that, just make it seem like that. And that's really the stuff that, Yeshua was about as well. Of course, he was vast in a sense where he knew about a lot of the Hindu pantheon, Egyptian pantheon, or we call Kemet, as well as obviously his own Abrahamic faith, and as far as Judaism and the Kabbalah. But this stuff that we have been trying to get out to humanity, people have gotten killed for it. People have gotten blackballed. All types of horrendous things happen to them for trying to talk about this stuff. But again, for us, if you ask like, oh, is it worth it? Is it worth it? We don't have we don't have a conception of why would it need to be hidden? Like, that conception is so far away from our brain. So we're trying to get someone to shut up about it or to not talk about it. It just can't compute it. And that was the issue with Yeshua. He had been warned multiple times by the Pharisees to shut up about trying to teach you guys about the intergalactic mentalism. There's many of those cults. Like, people are trying to drag Jesus, like, And it's kind of like, it's kind of odd to me, because I understand the stuff that they did with Christianity, with Constantine, the Jesuits. I understand how they fucked that stuff up, and they did it purposely. Uh, they messed that stuff up purposely so that they can bottleneck humanity, and they view Yeshua as the enemy. Now, as far as his actual teachings, once you get past all of the bastardization and all of the nonsense, and all of the dogmatism and all of the religiosity, once you actually just crack down to the teachings itself, it's the same stuff that the other ascended masters got sent here to say, as far as like Siddhartha Gautama and Mahavira and all that. But the teachings itself was so powerful and so deep. It's so powerful and so, and so I see why, they did what they did. I see why they did what they did. Absolutely. Because it's stuff in that, it's stuff that he was saying that flies over everybody's head, that has been hidden, or that has also been watered down, that could free humanity in terms of understanding what the kingdom of God really is within. When you talk about the kingdom of God is within, when they tell you to look at the sea, or they tell you that the fish, the kingdom of God is in the fish, or but in the sea, and he said, no, it's within. It's within. That's very powerful stuff. That's very powerful stuff for those to get to bliss consciousness and be able to maintain it and stay there at a certain amount of time. That's pretty much your operating at a 1,000 hertz frequency of enlightenment. No lie. This is what he was just freely giving to humanity, just freely trying to teach this, the level that, say, Buddha got to, or the level that Mahavira got to, and the level that he obviously got to. He was trying to give that gift literally to all of humanity. All of you niggas get enlightenment. All of you niggas become, all ye are gods, all ye are sons of the Most High. All of y'all walk around at 1,000 hertz of enlightenment. All of you have the ability to create your own IPU. All of you should have the ability to create your own IPU. And that kind of teaching is threatening and dangerous to interdimensional beings that want power and control, and that want it compartmentalized, whether that be a secret society, whether that be an organization. That kind of stuff is so frightening and threatening. And so they got him out the paint, And so again, he comes from the chaos intelligence dimension, descendant of the dragon riders, that has some of the Atlantean DNA, because the dragon riders created the Atlantis dimension. And so, yes, he was sent down here. There were other watchers sent down here, other beings from that dimension sent down here to try to give out that information. Even after that, after his death and resurrection, and that's all the code too. That's a code, But anyways, there were beings even after that, and they was getting them out the paint too, knocking them out, killing them left and right. Thomas Sankara was one of them, believe it or not. Killed him, got him out the paint. And so now it's just got to the point where it's the disrespect in the wickedness on this planet has just gotten so egregious, where you're going to see these beings flex. Interdimensional beings flex. They're not going to come in just human flesh anymore and be a flesh and try to teach and try to hold your hand and no, they're going to be flexing. They're going to be shape-shifting, teleporting, telepathically communicating things. They're just going to be out in the open. They're going to be out in the open. And some of them will be flexing on, it's not so much a flex on humanity, but it is a flex over the ones that roll over you. It's a flex to the archons. And sometimes it is a flex to humanity, because humanity can be very disrespectful as well to other species and other beings. So sometimes it is that way. But for those of us that come from the chaos intelligence realm, which is the pole of creation that creates the galaxies, that dimension, the dimension of the Godhead, they still have an axe to grind with some of the fallen angels, with some of the powers that be as well. They absolutely have an axe to grind, and so they are down here flexing. I'm gonna just keep it real. As far as and again, as when we talk about that pole of creation, other species recognize that. And thank God they do, because they have been so gracious and so sweet and so amazing, to those of us that are that those how do I say this? Those who are new to visiting planet Earth, those who are new to visiting this dimension. Um, for you know, I'll say this: the Pleiadians and the Lemurians have been so gracious to them, showing them how to, maneuver all of this, because there are Atlanteans that have never been here before that are visiting for the first time. They don't mean no harm. They may not be here to save anybody. They here to, some of them they're just here to teach, or some of them just here to just observe. They just here on intelligence missions. Some they just it's just a dimension that, and also they want to take some of their people back with them. They're here to take some of their people with them. And as far as like understanding like how all of this is what all of this is about, as far as what planet Earth is really about. It's a prison, how they try to make it a prison planet. The Lemurians and the Pleiadians, they were able to avoid that by obviously a certain set of frequency that they are at. They have a higher frequency, but also they know how to cloak. So they have good cloaking technology, and they know how to go in and out of portals. They know how to open and close portals and create portals. They also can travel from vortex to vortex through black holes. And so they have been very gracious in teaching and catching up those that are just new to planet Earth. Because again, from various dimensions, particularly Andromedian and the place where the avians and Actarians come from. Some of those species they're very, very highly advanced, mind you, but they're very naive because we don't understand the level of low governing force here. Even some of the species from my dimension, the chaos intelligence dimension, are where we're very advanced frequency wise in terms of love and in terms of of justice and peace. We have and those type of things, and enlightenment and knowledge and freedom and liberation. We tend to be extremely, extremely naive when it comes to the deception down here. The deception on planet Earth is something that my mind cannot understand and grasp. And so, Lemurians and Pleiadians, they are one game. They're not deceptive, but they know what is ahead. Like they know what this is all about. And so, they put us on game. They did, for those of us that's kind of like back, and I'm not saying for myself, because I do have familiarity with planet Earth. I have familiarity with planet Earth, but I do know, even with myself, that I had to remember that, and it was not that bad. Planet Earth was never like this as well, as far as like the level of deception, the level of low governing force. And again, it's not every human. This is not an indictment on humans. It's not an indictment on humanity. We're talking about levels above that have been, again, turning this into a prison planet. Funneling information, hiding the knowledge, hiding the power from humanity and from regular humans, or compartmentalizing it in a way where it's deceptive or it's misinterpreted. And so it's as simple as that. And so for those of us from and honestly, this is the issue that Tahuti had, but Tahuti was a warhead. So you weren't going to be able to just bully him and turn no other cheek or nothing like that. Like you try to attack him, he'll lay your ass out. The thing is also, at that time, humanity was much more humble. Humanity understood what it was like to learn from an ascended master, so they had no problem learning from Tahuti. They had no issues, the same issues that Yeshua had. When Yeshua came down here and tried to do the same thing, at that time, the system of the prison planet, the system of the secret society, that was already set up. So it was too late, and so they didn't want another being coming in like that. And so they knocked that down. They knocked him out. But also, he was also naive, coming into this planet, not realizing the level of deception and the level of wickedness at that time, 2,000 years ago, certainly. You weren't coming down here to give out no information on your little space mission or your little astral travels. You know, they stopped all that pretty much on this planet. You guys can believe it or not. I don't care. But they stopped all that. You know, you weren't coming down here and and or going through a process where you even enlighten yourself. They even trying to stop that. Now that's wild. That's really wild. Were you trying to stop soul evolution of humanity on an individual level? And that's why you have these shakeups. That's why it's such a shakeup. That's why it's such a huge awakening going on right now. Because things, it's not even any particular. You want to say, oh, God's back or God's doing it. That's fine. That you could look at it like that. I look at it like that personally. But also, if you're just looking at it from just an energetic level, it's just it's a pendulum swing. You have the law of correspondence, the law of polarity, the law of rhythm. The law of rhythm is like a pendulum. You go, it's what goes up must come down. What you put out, you're gonna get back. If you do the boomerang, you take a pendulum, you swing it one side, it's gonna swing the other way. That's what's happening now. It's like you go one way so far to the point where that energy just pushes back on you. They always talk about the law of motion and Isaac and all that stuff. I don't think they understand that stuff properly. Because I'm like, no, if you go too far in one force and push one force too far to the extreme, even if you do have the concept of infinity and the concept of infinity, you think you just go into low governing force in terms of pushing something so unnatural. If it's against the laws of the universe, it's going to correct itself. And so what's been happening on this planet has been against the laws of the universe. It's as simple as that. And so it's auto-correcting. It's auto-correcting. And so trying to prevent humans from soul liberation, trying to capture the essence of other motherfuckers from work you haven't put in yourself and all that, like that stuff is just, it's low governing force. It's weird. And so it's all balancing out. And also of the beings that came down here that do want to give out information, that do want to help out, or they're not obligated to, but just from who they are as a species, that's what all they know. The days of just killing them and getting them out the paint or sacrificing them and all that stuff, them days are gone too. And so back to the Miami thing, yes, there are interdimensional beings that are here. Some from the Atlantean dimension, some from the Andromedian dimension, some from the Sirius dimensions. All of the Sirius dimensions, A, B, and C. They coming to get their people and they out. Avians are definitely here. Obviously, the Lemurians and Pleiadians, they've always been here, but they are coming out. There are more coming from Pleiades as well, but they are going to stay hidden in terms of like you're not going to just be able to go to Lemuria or nothing like that, or go to where they hide in terms of their caverns and their portals. Like you're not going to be given access to that, but they will be out more in the open. And they had been asked to, because they feel like you can save yourself. All the information is out there. The work is out there. Yes, there are distractions. Yes, they do try to do this prison planet thing, but there's always a way out, right? There's always a loophole. There's always a choice. And so if you want a free will planet, and regardless of how much they try to turn it into a prison planet, it's not yet. Yeah, we could look at it like that, but it's a choice. You can go walk into a matrix prison and they panopticon matrix. You can do that, or you can live out, or you can go in and out. It's interdimensional beings that go in and out. Just like them niggas that was at that mall, walking around, them 8 to 10 feet beings that was at that mall looking around, trolling humans and trolling the government, shutting down and messing with the cell towers and all that, and had to have them stop the air flights in Miami in and out. That's why they showing that code of the teenagers fighting. They showing that video, right? Showing the black teenagers fighting. The reason why they're doing that is because the energy from those interdimensional beings, and were they 45D in advance? That was teenager those were teenagers. And again, our government knows more about this stuff than what they let on, so they communicate in code. Because our government, come on, you guys already know that this stuff is I don't even know if I should be saying this, but um who do you think is running the who do you think run the systems? I mean, you come on, guys. Come on. It's just a matter of it's a matter of frequency. Just because it's an interdimensional being doesn't mean that they're evil. Doesn't mean they're against you. But there are some that are. Absolutely. Absolutely. The ones that have been trying to make this a prison planet, absolutely, they're wicked. They're wicked. But not all of them are. Not all of them are the same species. You know? Not all of them are the same species. And then not all of them are equal. Not all, a 45D being is more superior than a 20D being. It's just as simple as that. A 45D being is more superior than a 9D being, than a 7D being. In terms of in terms of awareness, I'll just say that. In terms of awareness, in God's eye, yes, we're all equal. We're all the same, or whatever. But in terms of awareness, of self and awareness of the universe, defying physics, yeah, in that sense, they're superior. But superior doesn't mean that they feel the need to rule over you, to dominate you, to harm you. That's not what that means. 45D being is not concerned with dominance or control over humans, and that's the least thing on their mind. That's just, it just is what it is. Okay, let me just put it this way. You as a human, or even if you're not human, even if you're a hybrid, or even if you are part of half reptilian or half, I'm just going here because I do know that there are people that listen to me that are not fully human. Do you feel like you need to have control over ants or dominate an ant at the level of being a human or whatever species you are? Do you feel like you would need to control what ants do, what ants think, how ants, you let them be, you let them do whatever they want to do, however they going to do it. You fascinated by it, and you think they're brilliant creatures. You think that they're amazing in terms of, the way they run their colonies and their organizing ability and their ability to work together. It's fascinating. It's cool to study, right? But you don't want to control a ant. And so that's how 45D beings view humans. That's how some of the descendants of the dragon riders, the original ones, that the ones that stayed with God pretty much, that's how some of the obviously some of the Lemurians think that way. A lot of these species, that's how they feel about humans. However, there are some interdimensional beings that have more power and knowledge over humans, but how do I say this? They have more knowledge than humans, but they don't necessarily have more power in terms of their power is derived from humans. Humans have to give them their power. They have to feed, if they have to feed off of human. And so they are concerned with controlling and dominating humanity. They are concerned with, they're just obsessed with it. Like they freak out, if they feel like humans are bucking up, or if they feel like you guys are becoming too aware, they clamp down, they lock you down. And so those beings, though they may have more power and more knowledge, it's by proxy. It's by proxy. It's artificial in a sense. And so the beings that have been ruling over humanity, those are the beings that have the artificial. Because the moment the humans wake up and say, "Oh, we out," they out of playing that game with them and letting them feed off of their energy, they're done. They're done. They're done. And that's why you see the things with the matrix collapsing, this great awakening, this 3 to 5D shift, 7D shift, whatever. Some of it's 9D shift. Like you can't put a number on a dimensional shift because everybody's at different levels, right? There are humans that can be on a 20D level easily, a 45D level, based on not just the hybridization of their DNA, but just their level of consciousness. And so I kind of get annoyed when I see like, oh, we're moving into the 5D, we're moving 5D, when there are humans that can go past 5D. So you will limit yourself to fifth dimensional consciousness because of programming. That's still a level of programming to me. Because what if, my thing is, we're just, for me, we're in a dimensional shift. For sure, we're in a planetary shift. We're in the age of awakening. We're in the age of Aquarius, but I'm not going to put a number on it. Like, oh, we're all going into 5D. We're all going into 7D. No, some of you niggas is going into 8D. Some of you are going into 20D. Some of you are going only into 4D. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Oh, 6D, 5D. And nothing wrong with none of these dimensional shifts, because here's the kicker. You can go in and out at will. Some of you are going to be at 7D for a couple of years or maybe a couple of months, and then you'll be at 4D. Then you go back up to 5D. Then you go up to 9D. This is the shift. This is a shift in interdimensionality. It's a shift in resonance. So that's how I look at this time and this awakening. For me personally, I'm not putting this on anybody else. This is just me, where my level is at. That could be low or high to you. I don't care. But for me personally, my dimensionality is based on heaven on earth. That's the type of time I'm on. Whatever you loose in heaven will be loose on earth. Whatever you bound in heaven will be bound on earth. Obviously, heaven is a state of a dimension. It's a state of consciousness as well. It can actually be a physical place. You can make it a physical place. Sure, you can. Sure, it can be a physical place. But for me, while I'm still in the meat suit, while I'm still in a flesh, absolutely, it's for the type of time I'm on. I'm about heaven on earth, the kingdom of God within. I'm about enlightenment. That's all I'm about. Like I'm not trying to save anybody. I love teaching people. I like helping people. I've been deceived and taken advantage of a lot, and so I do have my guard up with the situation I had to deal with over the past 2 years. But other than that, I have to work on myself. That's what I'm focused on. And whoever, I'm creating my own IPU, and whoever wants to, join along with that, that's fine. Or they want to learn from some of the information I have, that's cool. But I'm not up here trying to push my ideas on down somebody's throat. I wrote 18 books. If people want to read them, they can read them. If not, I don't care, because I enjoy teaching. I enjoy education and spirituality and learning and whatnot. That's just a part of who I am. But for me, what I see in today's time, and what I know, oh yeah, I know for a fact that I have to evolve my soul, or else you get hit in a crossfire with what's about to happen on this planet. That's just the time I'm on. There's other people still partying and doing whatever they gonna do with their life. They still fucking, drinking, whatever they doing. I have no judgments, but I know for what I can feel in my soul, how serious this time is. The spiritual warfare that we are under, between what I see as some of these low-level interdimensional beings, some of the watchers, some of the fallen angels have defected back over to the side of the watchers. Then you got the galactic energies, because when we talk about the levels of the angels, that's from the chaos intelligence being. That's from the pole of creation of the Godhead. That is different than the galactic level, because the pole of creation created all of the rest of the galactic levels. Then you got to contend with that as humans. And that's why anytime you see a story like this come out about Miami or Roswell, or all of the conspiracies about the UFOs, everybody panics and freak out because they can't understand anything outside of the dogmatism of religion. And then the aspect of the polar creation of the creator God, that's fine. Like we're talking about after you come off these branches Once you come from the pole of creation, you're going to branch out into different dimensions. You're going to branch out into different constellations, different universes, different solar systems. Okay? And so from that level, that's where you get all of these different species, including humans, including humanoids, including amphibians, including the species of the amphibian. And then you got the reptilians, but then you got so many species within reptilian, right? You know that you just from planet Earth, you see a snake, you see what is it? Lizard, you see, come on, like it's the same thing in the galactic sense. It's the same thing in interdimensionality outside of 3D, 4D, 5D thinking or knowledge, rather 3D, 4D, 5D knowledge. What about the levels of 20D knowledge, 45D knowledge? Those species are going to look different. And so what humans have to contend with or merge is the knowledge of, say, the soul and God, and understanding that from that pole of creation, you're going to have many, 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 many dimensions, many, 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 many offshoots of consciousness that manifest in different frequencies. That's pretty much all I'm saying. And so when you have species come visit the 3D, 4D, 5D realm, don't freak out. Yes, you're going to have a fucking avian walking around here soon. Yes, you're going to see 45D beings shifting, walking through walls and shit. It shouldn't be a big deal. Humans can walk. Humans should be able to be doing these things. You were able to do those things at one point. So what happened? They try to make it into a prison planet. They try to imprison humanity and trap humanity. That's why they always talk about the story of the Anunnaki and Lil and Enki and all that. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't knock it. I think it's cool. And I know, like in the occult, they love just praising the Anunnaki beings are just so advanced and so. They are a creation from the chaos intelligence being as well, a realm as well. They're not the end all be all creators. And what I don't like about that, and the Anunnaki, they know who I am. They whatever, but they try to make it seem like they just created everything, created humans. You did not create humans. Why did you lie and tell them that? Do they have some of your DNA? Sure they do. Sure they do. Sure you experimented on them, genetic splicing experimented on humanity, but you didn't create humanity. Why did you tell them that? Why? I don't understand why the Anunnaki did that. It was funny. I mean, again, you got to understand a lot of these species that's running around here, the ones that particularly that got clearance to come down to a free will dimension, while humanity was already evolving, they were like teenagers. I don't know what else to say. And that's why I was saying how some of the fallen angels came down here and tried to set up shop, and they were more advanced than you guys, and you guys thought they were gods and thought they was just the business. And from certain dimensions, they are like children. And the chaos intelligence realm, angels are like 5 to 10 years old. No lie. Anunnaki are like, from the chaos intelligence realm, Anunnaki are seen as babies too. Yeah, they special, intelligent, whatever, but they are seen as children, just like the avians. I'm just keeping it a buck. That is the pole of creation energy from the Godhead that creates all of the other species, created every species, including humans. Humans are seen as babies, like in God's eyes. Like what else do you want? Like, and then obviously, when we talk about God's governance, obviously we have some very advanced angels and very advanced deities under the Godhead. But yeah, we pretty much see all this stuff. You know, it's like children running around here, teenagers. It's like having that teenage brother. This is how I see the relationship between the Anunnaki and humans. And I think, again, I don't respect everything they did, but it's like, you know, you think your bigger brother is so cool and so amazing, and they kind of bully you or make you do stupid shit. You know, like they tell you something that's not true. Mom said this, dad said this, dad said you know, and you be like, did mom really say that? But mom ain't never really say that. I'm telling you, you have a situation, you know, you guys can relate to what I'm talking about with the big brother, big sister energy. And your brother's a teenager, but you like 10 or 8 years old, and you just look up to them and they teach you things, whatever, but they still kind of bully you. They kind of joke, they kind of do that kind of stuff. That's what a lot of these species have been doing into humanity. That's just the light level. Are we talking about the light level? Because some of it is much, much more sinister, where they literally grinding y'all asses up in blenders to make and drinking you. Like that's how some of these species are actually doing that too. So it gets really dark. But for some of them that just straight up told stupid ass lies, or talking about, oh, he created you for control, whatever. It's like, you didn't create humanity. And you're not the smartest species around here. Why are y'all acting like? But if the human don't know, if you don't know better, you're not going to know any better. It is what it is. And so, other species that saw what was going on, like the Lemurians and the Pleiadians, they said, look, deuces. We just gonna create our own little portal here. We just gonna create our own little cloaking dimension. The Atlanteans, they got their ass. They had to come home. Great Mother came and got them. God came. Let's go. Fucked up. So the Atlanteans, they had no choice but to go back to their dimension. And others as well. But in the Anunnaki, they used to always say, like, man, if Tahuti come back here, or if their mother, their queen, they know who I'm talking about. If they come down here, and we're gonna have a lot of explaining to do. They will have a lot of explaining to do. We're gonna have a lot of answering to do, and we're gonna be in trouble for what we did on this planet. And so, actually, for that particular species, I do have to say, you guys already know that's what the age we are in. Now, for those that look into that as a religious sense, that's the Christ consciousness age, or the return of whatever, however you want to look at that. But yeah, somebody got some explaining to do. Certainly. Okay. And so, oh shoot. Let me see what time it says. Okay. I'm about to get off of here. And I'm going to start something different with, I want to talk about the Cat Williams situation. But I think I said everything I wanted to say. I'm going to talk to y'all later.